Well, good morning, fellow debt slayers. It's Stephen with Debt Free Results. Hope everyone's having a great day. It's Wednesday morning at about 11 a.m. I had a conversation last night with a fellow debt slayer, and they were asking how to pay off debt. They have jobs and they make their payments and they follow the baby steps, and they said, how can we pay off debt faster? And we went through the numbers, and I was like, well, you have to be creative. You have to think outside the box. I said, you have more time than you really think. And they were like, well, no, we don't, we blah, 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 and this and that. And I said, you know what, if you really want to make extra money to pay down your debt, which they're doing fine on their salaries, I said, then you have to become creative. And, you don't have to work another 40 hours, but there are part-time jobs out there that will pay well and help you along the way to pay down your debt faster. So I wanted to put together something that will help fellow debt slayers like yourself, think about and become creative and think outside the box to say, yep, I have extra hours. We all gravitate towards the TV, and I'm guilty of that as well. And if you really think about it, if you took 2 or 3 hours a night, you get home, you have dinner, you relax for a little bit, but you take 2 or 3 hours a night or on the weekend, if you have extra time on the weekends, which it seems like a lot of people do, you can work extra hours to make extra money to put towards debt. So I've came up with a couple of ideas and just wanted to pass these over to people and try to let people start thinking creatively outside the box, especially where summer is almost over. Monday is the end of, technically the end of summer. And then it's getting ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And hey, guess what? We're back into 2026 as a new year. So let's think about this. We're going to incur more bills because of the holidays. And if you can get into a routine now and have a job now for when the holidays come on, it will help more towards your debt snowball. So before we go there, do me a favor and like this channel. Give us a thumbs up on this content. I think it helps us be able to help other people. Subscribe to our page. We're here on YouTube. We're here on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you have family members or friends that are having a hard time trying to make ends meet to pay off bills, shoot them over to our website at www.debtfreeresults.com. They could schedule a free 1-hour session with me. We can sit down and talk about what their issues are and what our services are, and try to come up with some ideas to help them along the way. So thank you very much for the thumbs up. Subscribe to the program, to the group, and let's get into this. So, thinking creatively, I always tell my clients, if you have a whiteboard or just a pad of paper, no idea is a bad idea. So sit down and think about what you do for work. You may be a nurse, you may be in the medical industry, you may be a mechanic, you may be in retail, you may be in corporate, you may be data entry, whatever, doesn't matter. Become creative. on this side. Think about it, write it down, come up with some ideas, more than one idea, and really think about it. It's a process. Everything is a process, and it's a mental process. I mean, I have some clients who work 3 jobs. They leave one job, they take care of the kids, then they go to another job, and on weekends they work a 3rd job. And they will do what they have to do to get out of debt. The big thing is cutting up your credit cards and getting out of debt. So if that means that we have to think outside the box to carve out an additional 20 hours a week to make extra money to pay down the bills, then so be it. So here are some ideas. There are thousands of ideas, but here's just a couple. I think I did 4 to try to get people to think about becoming creative on different jobs. So there's a guy who works in this neighborhood, and he's a young man, and he works his tail off, and he has a lawn cutting business, and he charges by the hour. But in this example, I just said, if you can get a lawnmower, which anyone can get a used lawnmower, or you could buy a new one. But I said, upfront cost maybe $200. But if you bought a used lawnmower just for your side hustle, then what I would suggest is buying a used one on Marketplace, or I know driving around, you can always see people with a lawnmower out front for sale. When you buy a used lawnmower, bring it home, buy the right spark plug, drain the oil, drain the gas, check the blade, sharpen the blade if you have to. It's not that hard to do with a file. Replace the spark plug, replace the oil, and put fresh gas in it. You're not breaking down the carburetor unless it needs to be replaced, but having a new spark plug, fresh oil and fresh gas and a sharp blade, you're off to the races. And in this example, I was saying, if you have 10 clients, 10 lawns, and I don't care if you do 2 lawns on a Monday and 2 lawns on a Tuesday, but if, let's just say 10, for this example, we have 10 lawns. You find 10 people who are looking to have their lawns cut because they don't want to do it. And you charge them $25 a lawn, a cut. And 10 times 25 is $250 a week. Times that by 4, there is, if you have 200 times that, 250 times 4, which would be for the month, you're looking at $1,000 cash a month for 10 lawns. All right. If you have time and you are aggressive, you could always add, additional lawns to that. In this example, I put down for 8 months, but if you have these clients and then they need leaves done and they need, their driveway shoveled or whatever, you could make this into an annual job, a side hustle. But for 8 months, I'm using that as an example. If you're working 10 lawns at $25 a lawn times 4 weeks in a month, and then times that by 4 weeks in the month, you would make $1,000 tax-free cash, and you could put that towards your debt. I mean, you're looking at maybe 10 hours a week, an hour a lawn. And like I was saying, if you did two lawns a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's your 10 lawns. You could do it then or work it on Saturday and Sunday. But, just a ballpark, I mean, you could make $1,000 a month cutting grass and throw that towards your debt. The next one was delivering pizza. Now, these numbers I don't know, but I am just using this as an example, okay? Creative thinking. But, if you have, I think you would make an hourly rate, and then tips. So if you work 4 nights a week, 4 hours a night, and let's just say you're getting $8 an hour, I don't know, maybe you get more, but that would be $128 a week in, let's say, a salary. And you times that by 4 weeks, that would be $512 before taxes, on the salary side. If you look down at the tips, if you have 10 deliveries a night, and let's just say you make $4 a household per delivery, and that's not unheard of, especially with these DoorDashes and Uber Eats and so on. If you have 10 houses and you make $4 per house, that would be $40 a day. Times that by 4, which would be your 4 nights, that would be $160 a week. And if you times that by 4 for the month, you'd be at $640 a month in tips. If you add the $640 plus the $512, you're looking at about $1,100 or $1,300 a month. And if you times that by 12, you, again, before taxes type of thing, you're looking at about $13,000 or $14,000. So again, I don't have these numbers. These are just my numbers. But I wanted you to see, there is money to be made in delivering pizza, or being a waiter or waitress, or being a bartender, whatever it is. I'm just using this as an example. Another one would be working retail at night or on the weekends. I know that the Walmarts and Lowe's in my town are always looking for help, stocking help and such. So, I again just use $17 an hour as this example. But if you have a work shift of between 8 and 10 hours a day or a night, I use 10 hours. That would be $170 a day, and you times that by 2 nights, that would be $340 for a weekend. And you times that by 4 weeks, you'd be at around $1,360 a month. If you times that by 12, you're looking at an additional $16,320 a year. Again, before taxes, but again, it's a way to make additional money to pay down your debt. The next one was if you work from home on your computer, and let's say work 20 hours a week, you can do this at night or on the weekends. Again, the same type of thing, data entry, customer service, sales, whatever. $20 an hour. Again, I don't know what they pay, but I'm just using 20 as an easy number. But if you have $20 an hour times 20 hours a week, that would be about $400 a week. Times that, so that would be $400 a week. Times that by 4, you're looking at $1,600 a month. Times that by 12, and you're looking at about $19,200 a year before taxes. So you'd have to have internet, of course, and you'd have to have a computer. But let's think about making extra money and then taking that money and putting it towards your debt. Whatever that debt is, credit cards, medical, dental, personal loans, HELOCs, car payment, don't care. These type of jobs, all 4 of these type of jobs, could really, and I'm saying 20 hours a week, you could really put a dent on your debt-free journey. So, lastly, there are different ways to pay off debt, but you have to think outside the box on what you want to do. So, these people are thinking, geez, I never thought about that, And these people, the light bulb goes off after they think about it to say, I've got an idea, I want to do this. And, it's my job to teach you how to think creatively, or, not my job too, but I help people think creatively when they don't have ideas to, make extra money. So, there is a saying in the Bible that says, you feed a man a fish and he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So, things like this will help you, to remind you, to make you think creatively on how to pay down debt. There are always multiple ways to do it, and it's my journey. It's my job, if you will, to help you and teach you to be able to become debt-free as soon as possible. And that's my stewardship. And so I hope this helps. If you could, again, give us a thumbs up, like our content, join our channel, and subscribe to our platform. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're at www.debtfreeresults.com. I'll help you any way that I can. I try to reply to emails as soon as possible, so it's usually 1 to 2 days behind. But we're here to help. So reach out to us if this was helpful for you. Give us a thumbs up, like I said, and in the comments, if you want to hit number 1, type number 1 if this was helpful. Here's something I want to find out. For the people who are watching this and have second jobs or third jobs, type number 2 and tell me what you do for your side hustles. I'd be very interested, and I'll bring that up as ideas for other debt slayers who are in their journey and trying to find ways to pay off debt. So have a great day. I know you can do this. God bless you. If you need help, text me at www.debtfreeresults.com, and we'll talk to you soon. Again, this is Stephen with Debt Free Results. Have a great day, and thank you.